Hello everyone, welcome to AI's new video. Our topic today is how can travel loyalty programs make the most of fintech and payments. The pandemic has resulted in certain developments that travel e-commerce players can't ignore. There is striking take-up of offerings that facilitate touchless completion of any task. Expectedly, it has propelled the adoption of digital and contactless transactions. Also, fintech companies are rewriting the rules for what's possible with payment cards, mobile wallets, and loyalty apps. So it is vital for travel merchants to assess how these developments are going to impact loyalty. Our guest today, Jonathan Wu, is an expert in lots of areas, payments, loyalty, co-brand, and especially considering his vast experience and association with the likes of Visa and American Express. He's really an apt person to talk about this topic. So I welcome Jonathan. How are you doing, Jonathan, today?
I'm good, and I apologize. Obviously, we're working from home, so it's a gym, it's everything else. So I apologize for the mess, but I'm very good. Thank you very much.
Nevertheless, great having you. Jonathan, we are witnessing customer-friendly developments that blend transactions and loyalty currency. How do you think payment-related developments, especially ones featuring fintech companies, shouldn't be ignored when we think of loyalty?
So what we've seen a lot in the past is that payment is a really important trigger in helping either demonstrate behavior has taken place or actually driving a really good experience or a really bad experience. And so instead of seeing card or payment as a product like a piece of plastic, what we're seeing is that as merchants look at their digital offering to their customers, they're looking at a range of factors. For instance, how easy is it to apply and get registered for the service in the first place? But payment then becomes a really embedded and integrated part of that, and therefore making sure that that payment experience works well and what it can do to enhance your overall offering becomes a core part of loyalty considerations, and I think even loyalty is somewhat different to the way we've traditionally known it. What this is around is how can I as a merchant begin to create a far greater connectivity, ongoing relationship, correspondence, communication channel with my customers that ideally surprises and delights them in a way that ensures that they continue to see me as a core part of their day-to-day financial processes and so on and so forth.
Jonathan, other than the trends which are kind of accelerating in today's environment, the bottom line remains is that the convenience and the utility of certain tasks which are doing, if an app can help us in doing those tasks better, obviously consumers are going to lap them up. So if we consider the example of a German company, Stocat, which has 50 million users worldwide, which is about aggregating different loyalty memberships one has in one app. And now they are actually taking a step forward and incorporating the transactional or the payment feature in it. So how do you see these developments? Because that's the kind of example I want to put across to you when I talk about fintech and loyalty. This is a completely different player who has come up with the payment feature and has already got 50 million users.
So I think Stokat's a really good example of the first step. I think you have seen is, and we've seen this a lot in digital, is by using that app, how can I aggregate, so almost digitally represent a wallet, so that what I can have is my loyalty card, my payment card, all in one easily accessible place. And how can I use APIs under the surface that mean that actually if I'm shopping in Boots, I don't need to present a loyalty card as well as a piece of plastic. So when you think of all the innovation that's taken place with regards to things like contactless and making that as quick as possible, people don't want them to have extra tasks and activities. And so by purely providing that aggregation layer, that in and of itself can drive a better experience. And so I think that's great. But I also think that when you look at technologies like tokenization, there's so much more that you can do. And I think that what we're going to see is what I would call the separation of earn, like how do I earn my points, and making it as easy as possible to earn them. And then looking at how do I make it much easier to redeem and burn the points I've had in an open environment as I can. So many cards, many of those solutions today are really not fundamentally impacting the loyalty program themselves. They're probably making it much easier from an earn side. I think what we're increasingly going to see is people looking at really imaginative ways to burn through those points. And we're already seeing things like there's some former colleagues of mine that have set up a business called For Good Causes. And what you're doing is redeeming loyalty points to give to charity and great things like that. So I think customers are going to have much greater digital expectations of what they can do with those points. And so I think you're now going to see greater evolution of new solutions of ways to make it easier and move from what were generally closed loop loyalty systems into much more open loyalty ecosystems.
Talking of digital experiences, one brand which has stood out is Starbucks. It has close to 20 million users of its app. It is a major proposition for a user to order, to pay through the app. And we are seeing how Starbucks is pivoting its entire strategy. So what are the key consider Starbucks as a merchant? What can travel merchants learn from Starbucks even in today's environment?
Yeah, so I think it's a really good example. And many of the clients I've spoken to have often seen, I think, co-brand propositions as a way of purely monetizing the customer base and trying to almost sell data or get points or marketing programs out of that. And it's been very finance-led. I think what Starbucks is a great example of is it being much more of a marketing-led initiative, which is how can we incorporate loyalty into our customer experience in a way that drives a better customer experience, and we can use that as a way to steer customers to behave the way we quite like them to behave, but also use the data derived from that app as a fantastic way of constantly reviewing and improving and getting a better sense of what our customers actually want and how their behaviors are evolving. And so in the case of Starbucks, what you're seeing is, loyalty is integral to the app, but what they've done is use that data to fundamentally redesign their store approach, their almost click and collect, order ahead type capabilities, because what they're finding is a significant chunk of their customers just want to make the collection of that coffee as quick and as easy and as painless as possible. And by offering that service and also offering incremental loyalty experiences, that can really drive behavior. When I was running the Innovation Center in Visa, we ran a pilot with a great loyalty company called Yo-Yo, and a lot of it's been coffee in the UK. And what we found was that the primary users of the app, the Yo-Yo app for purchasing coffee, were generally people who were already contactless users. So they're already comfortable with kind of tap and pay. But by adding that loyalty element, that was a key driver of customer spend away from the contactless card into the app, and that was a real incentive to bring customers in. And what you found was that once they'd used it and it was a good experience, they stayed using it. And I think that's very interesting, and it's been quite interesting in the last couple of months. I have a Vitality Health private healthcare app, which when I meet certain thresholds gives me coupons and vouchers, and so one of the offers in that is Costa Coffee, which is one of Yo-Yo's clients. During the pandemic, because I can't go into a coffee bar to redeem those vouchers, Yo-Yo and Costa and Vitality have reimagined the push of a coupon so that I can then order home delivery coffee through that loyalty app. And so what you're seeing is that app becoming actually the marketing communication platform for offers, for corresponding and communicating with a customer, and it becomes really integral to the customer marketing and engagement program when done well.